The Virtua Fighter series is one of those long-running fighting series. It's been going on for about 14 years now, and it was one of the original 3D fighters. Of course, it's evolved quite a bit over the years, and now it's a really amazing-looking game that will play in a familiar fashion if you've played any of the previous Virtua Fighter games. And that's kind of where this game is going to draw its big dividing line. Either you're already into Virtua Fighter and are looking for more of the same, or you've probably already made up your mind that you don't get it and never will. Either way, this is definitely a quality product that fans of the fighting genre should probably enjoy. Virtua Fighter is a 3-button game. You have a guard button, a punch button, and a kick button. And of course, by hitting different combinations of these buttons, moves will come out that will attack your foes. It's very big on the high-low game, so you can mix up high attacks and low attacks to kind of throw your opponent off guard. But it also has a very deep counter system. You can sidestep around incoming attacks. You can counter just about any throw that's put on you. So it's a very deep, technical game. 5 very much builds off of what 4 started. And, maybe speeds up the gameplay a little bit, but in addition, rebalances characters, adds some new moves here and there, and also adds 2 new characters to the mix. The modes in Virtua Fighter 5 are very basic, and they're very much like the modes that were in Virtua Fighter 4. You have the main arcade mode where you just kind of fight through and go up against the game's boss. There's a versus mode where you can play against another person sitting there with you. There's the dojo mode, which is a training mode, but it's not quite as useful as other training modes. There's no button in there that'll kind of like show you the timing of a move, and since some of the timings have changed over Virtua Fighter 4, it would have been nice to have a deeper training mode to it, especially if you're a new player coming in for the first time. The quest mode is the main single-player mode, and here it gives you a little map, and you can go from arcade to arcade, taking on different players. And these players are kind of meant to be different AI profiles. Each one's maybe meant to fight a little bit different. They'll have a win-loss record and a ranking. And here the goal is to just play until you see every single player, or play until you earn every little emblem, or there's a bunch of different little things that you're collecting as you go. The main problem with the quest mode is that the players you're fighting against don't really feel like actual human players. They're very robotic, and the difference between the low-ranking players and the high-ranking players is that the high-ranking players don't fall for the easy stuff. You kind of have to go out of your way to work them over, but they all don't fall for the same level of easy stuff. The graphics in Virtua Fighter 5 are great. This game originated in arcades, and this pretty much looks on par with the arcade version of the game. It's widescreen, and it runs at 720p on the PlayStation 3. When you get up close and really kind of examine the graphics, you're going to notice maybe a jagged edge here and there, or kind of a pixelated look to maybe some of the players. But overall, it is a great-looking game with really sharp animation, except for the possibility of the mouth movement at the end of the fight. They'll talk a little bit. The teeth and mouths look a little weird, but beyond that, it's a really outstanding looking game, and then when you start customizing the characters, you get a lot of different colors and different things you can wear, and that's all nice too. On the sound side of things, a lot of the sound is stuff that you've heard in previous Virtua Fighter games. The sound of you kind of leaping up and jumping on a fallen opponent, that's the same kind of sound, and all the punches and stuff all have a very trebly, kind of scratchy sound to them, which they've had over the years. So that's all pretty much as you would expect. The speech and some of the other sound effects are pretty low fidelity, surprisingly so. Some of them sound a little muffled, or like they were just sampled at a lower bit rate than maybe they should have been, so some of the speech just sounds a little worse than others. How much you enjoy Virtua Fighter 5 is going to come down to a couple of different factors. It's going to be your familiarity with the game, first and foremost. If this is going to be your first Virtua Fighter game, it's not necessarily very friendly to beginning players. And then the second factor is going to be, how many people around you have that are interested in playing Virtua Fighter with you. The single-player mode is definitely, it can last a long time if you really get into seeking out every little unlockable item, but with no one to show those items to, it's kind of shallow, and you're left feeling kind of empty inside. That said, Virtua Fighter 5 is a great fighting game. It's unfortunate that it has this kind of list of caveats that bring it down a little bit, but beneath the surface, still outstanding.